It's about 25 before the hour. I got an email from Francis in Washington who said, I saw this today and wanted to send it to you just in case you haven't already heard about it. Well, yeah, we talked about this, I guess, about 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago. That's what started that little trickle of really hate filled, sick emails from people who took offense at the fact that I said Sean Hannity is ripping off dead soldiers' wives and children, which he is, and so is Oliver North. That shows you how screwy some of these right wingers really are. Um, but what was sent to me, it says, if you think the RNC's $2,000 splurge for faux lesbian strippers is bad, then you have no idea what grandstanding Republicans are really capable of. Take Sean Hannity, for example. The most annoying man in America has shouted loudly enough to convince millions of Americans that he is one of the few rich men who have their back. Well, just like Glenn Beck, right? After hearing about his latest fundraising snafu, we're hoping you aren't drinking his Kool-Aid. Hannity, along with Oliver North, run the Freedom Alliance, a multi-million-dollar charity that claims to raise scholarship money for the children of veterans who are either wounded or killed in action. Each year, this pair raises money through the annual Freedom Concert Tour, in which they engage in all sorts of folksy posturing on stage as great American bands, which are really marginally racist and totally white trash, play for the masses. However, just as Hannity and company were getting ready to kick off their August tour, news broke last week the Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington, that's CREW, are now accusing the group of consumer fraud and abuse of its tax-exempt status. CREW's website gives an itemization of the Freedom Alliance's expenditures and earnings. According to their report, Hannity's group spends more on postage than it does on scholarship to the children of poor veterans. Postage, $1.4 million. These lying bastards. $1.4 million in postage. Emails don't cost anything, Sean. In 2007, the charity, quote, quote, Freedom Alliance, collected more than $12.7 million in donations. It handed out less than $900,000 in scholarships, while retaining more than an extra $19 million they'd already collected in net assets and paying out more than $1.4 million in salaries. Now remember what Hannity and Oliver North have been saying, that every dime collected goes to the widows and children of grievously wounded American veterans or dead soldiers. They're lying. They're stealing. What they're doing is some of the filthiest. I mean, I knew that Oliver North was a complete sociopath and a disgrace to the U.S. Marine Corps. There's no question about that. And I also knew that Hannity was a half-witted moron who is a millionaire thanks to Newt Gingrich and Rupert Murdoch. Hannity has about as much talent as a sack of dead worms. And everybody in the industry knows that. I mean, that's not a news flash. Anyway, knowing that Oliver North was a disgrace to the United States Marine Corps, and that Hannity is a halfwit who is totally derivative, is not something that you have to spend a lot of time researching. But to find out that these two are using the so-called Freedom Alliance to steal from the widows and orphans. I hate to use that term. It sounds like something out of Snidely Whiplash, but that's exactly what it is, to steal from the families of dead soldiers. I mean, Jesus God, is there anything lower than that? I mean, hey, Sean, why don't you go bust open the coffins? I mean, Oliver North can get you into Arlington National Cemetery. I mean, after all, he was a lieutenant colonel. He can get you in there, Sean. Why don't the two of you slime balls go in there with shovels and just dig up the corpses and steal the rings and medals and stuff they were buried with? Wouldn't that be a little more honorable than stealing with your damn Freedom Alliance or Freedom Alliance concerts. Freedom Alliance sounds like something out of Nazi Germany. Jawohl, Freedom Alliance! We will collect money for the widows and children. Yeah, sure you will. This is this is one of the lowest, low-down things I think I've ever heard of. Hannity says, it's just a liberal smear campaign. Conservative blogger Debbie Schlussel, who first put this up, quoted sources who claim that Hannity uses the children of veterans as little more than a personal fundraising ploy. He's used the group's funds to pay for his private jets, luxury SUVs, and penthouse suites, not to mention his trips to the Bunny Ranch in Nevada. What scum. What filth. So it's still going on with Hannity and Oliver North. And they don't have to quit. Why should they quit? Why should they quit stealing from the widows and children of dead soldiers? Why should they quit? That's a gravy train, man. They can steal, and why should they quit? Who's going to make them quit? Because any charge against them, and if you take a look, what's at crew.org is the tax returns filed by this filthy Freedom Alliance. Tax returns. So it's stuff that North and Hannity and their accountant, stuff that they wrote down. It's stuff that they filed. $1.4 million for postage. Amazing. Oh, well. And again, Hannity and North do this with impunity. Why shouldn't they? That's the point. Not to be redundant, but why should they stop? Who's going to make them stop? The Republican Party? They have nothing to do with it. The teabaggers? They don't care. They're running their own scams. I know, maybe Glenn Beck will step in and say, hey, boys, it's okay to rip off the terminally gullible, but do you have to go after the widows and orphans? I was going to get to them. Now you guys have taken a revenue stream away from me. Filth. Absolute filth. So Hannity can talk about me as much as he wants. It doesn't change the fact that he is stealing from dead soldiers. Stealing. And so is that miserable psychopath, Oliver North. Stealing from the families of dead soldiers. Stealing. Takes a lot of balls to do that, huh, boys?